When you watch a tractor compete in the Outlaws Pulling Series, you see a wide range of performance. Some classes, like Pro Stock, seem quite similar to the everyday workhorse tractor, while at the other end of the spectrum, the Unlimited Supers are the hot rods of the sport. Both classes can certainly deliver the thrills, as you'll see next.
In the heart of the Midwest, there's a band of modern-day marauders. Mounted atop their beasts, they line up to throw down. They are outlaws.
Welcome to the Pulling Course in Rock Valley, Iowa, where the Outlaw Series has come to town to entertain the faithful. Hello, everyone. I'm Claude Wood, and along with Dave Bennett and Rick Carlson, we will be bringing you all the action, starting with the Pro Stock tractors. And our first puller will be Mason Hansen. He's out of Missouri Valley, Iowa, and he drives Unnatural Disaster.
I love the name of this tractor, love the mural. Man's a pretty good-sized farmer right outside of Missouri Valley. Right on the Nebraska, Iowa, Missouri line, big-time farmer. Oh, man, look at the chunks of dirt coming off that. A distance of 249.95. I think he ought to turn that down, Claude.
Probably so. Look at the size of that air intake, that big air horn right in the center.
And by that dirt coming up right there, he's got a problem. Let's go down to Rick Carlson, find out.
Mason, not quite what you were looking for. What went wrong?
Well, it's tough being the first hook of the night. The track kind of wants to groom in, but I've got driveline trouble somewhere. My clutch was starting to shake on me when I was leaving the line, and then when I spun out, I could feel it rumbling around in there. So somewhere in my driveline, I've got some problems. I can't make it back.
Up next is Steve Bailey driving Rut Cutter. He runs an excavation business, and he's also a farmer.
For a fact, man knows how to run the heavy equipment in these Pro Stock. Now, you're looking at 10,000 pounds with one huge turbo. The heavyweight boys of the sport of pulling. Rut Cutter's going to lay down a mark for the boys to shoot at. That track's still tearing up a little bit, but gets him a distance of 276 and 96. And since he's the second puller, Claude, he'll have to take that pull so this class has started.
He sure will. Look at the weights on the front all the way across. What's the rule on that?
Put as much weight on there as you want to, as long as you don't go over 10,000 pounds with the driver on board.
Steve, it's early. How did you feel the pull was?
Well, for the shape the track was in, for being first or second hook, I felt like we actually made a pretty good pass. I think the track might get a little better as the night goes on here.
We've talked about experience before. Jeff Parker has been pulling since 1971.
Man comes out of Ohio, proud to have him traveling over with the Outlaws, the Road Gear Plus. Now, we're going into an evening performance. We've had the afternoon performance. Some guys tore this track up and watered it down, and they're just now laying that track in. As you've seen right there, Jeff Parker goes 277 and 20. He takes the lead by 24 hundredths of a foot.
And right now, there's so much moisture, Dave, on this track. The pullers have got to be very careful how they slide the clutch.
Yeah, they're going to wear a 1/4 inch off those clutch plates to get, so they just don't want to blow the tires off the line.
Jeff, you pulled a little farther than everybody else, but it's kind of early.
Oh yeah, it's just the start of the class, and track's going to do nothing but get better, and there's a lot of good tractors back there.
Coming out of Butler, Missouri, this is Steve Calger.
The bell. You never know what you're going to get when the bell comes to the line. The Southern Bell, that is, a 1466 International. Calger, pretty good size farming in the soybean world. Just setting up there, rocking and rolling. He's not going to get out of the ruts. These boys are going to build a road. They're going to work that track in, and here you go. You got a leader at 290 and 93. Calger will take the lead. Going to set on board. You've seen that right hand go forward way before the clutch even thought about starting to lock up. That's what we're talking about. Giddy up, go, look for the flagman, make him back up a little bit more and get the full distance.
And that pull was just about ruler straight all the way down.
They don't want to get out of that rut. The way this track is dialed in right now, it's a competitive track, but you better not play around and get out of the road or you'll find the bar ditch and not go far enough.
And that was good enough to take the lead. Here is the newest version of the Wampus Cat, Logan Barrett, out of Ravenna, Nebraska.
I bet Uncle Ricky might be wishing he was on this tractor right now, this green track, because you really take a chance. You get to hot rodding on this track, you can take those motors at a high RPM and hurt them. Logan done the perfect job, though. Let that boy in the driver's seat, and he's going to take it down. He's going to take the lead by 6 feet. They are just building the road and rocking and rolling. Experience is showing off here, Claude.
And Logan didn't deviate very much from the previous puller, just kept in those same track.
He did try to move over just enough to split the ruts of the previous puller, but just didn't quite get it done as he fell in them right there at the end.
Checking out the leaderboard, each puller has gone farther than the puller before, which means the track is coming around. It's going to get better from here. We'll be back with more.
The Outlaw Truck and Tractor Pulling Association is brought to you by Extreme Performance Tire Cutting, Be Supreme, by Extreme, Will Cross Seed, good product, good prices, good service. Sapp Brothers, visit one of our 16 full-service truck stops today. And by ARP, the world leader in fastener technology.
Welcome back to Thunder in the Valley from Rock Valley, Iowa, and the Outlaw Truck and Tractor Pulling Series. A great crowd on hand today. Our next puller is Cody Yarrick, driving Gone 12 top 3 finishes for last year. Take a look at the lines of this tractor on the front. He has kept it all smooth, looking good.
All original from those factory John Deere weights right to the top. Outside of that horsepower, looky here, we're going down the track. This track is dialing in. Notice he didn't throw up a whole lot of mud right there. And he goes 306 and 30. He's going to hold the lead for a little while, but man, has he got some tough stuff coming.
Dave, we've been talking about the track. Now, in between the pulls, the crew will groom the track, yet the track will change. So what's going on there?
Well, you're stirring it up. You're airing it out. You're getting a little air in that water, drying it out. And every one of these boys are starting to move over to the left just a tick.
This is Lee Jensen. He's out of Blair, Nebraska. He's a self-employed mechanic.
High compression, a cool looking tractor. That 6030, the old style John Deere, a little bit of nostalgia in the 6030 line. Lee pulls Outlaws, he pulls Nebraska. Man will go anywhere, but he's a tough competitor when he pulls in. And he's showing that right here. He's going to go to number 2 at 299 and 81.
And looking back at the replay, Lee is the only one that has ventured over to the right and the only puller that has not taken the lead.
Yeah, he tried to, everybody's been moving to the left, splitting the ruts, so he thought he'd split them to the right. He had the tire speed. He's got the power. Look at the depth of the ruts back there behind him. Just a little too soft on the starting line.
This is David Yarrick. His son, Cody, pulled a few minutes ago. Dirt Slinging Deer. This tractor's new for this year.
Yeah, it's a brand new tractor this year, and you know that David talked to Cody on what to do. Take a look at that rear tire right there. It's squatting. It squatted down pretty hard. That pulled him to the left. See the angle of the sled right there? Pulled him over, but he's going to go to the lead at 312 and 97. And David York is one of our past points champions. And with this season, we're going into the pull to the championship. He wants back in, so he's got to start getting some good distances. And this one is going to get him up here in that top end at 312. He's our new leader for right now.
Yeah, at this point of the season, the pressure is really on. This is Doug Sabatka. He owns Excel Engineering.
Well, Excel Engineering excels in getting horsepower out of diesel engine. A lot of his parts are on a lot of these tractors. Front end's up in the air. He has moved some weight back. He's letting that tractor get a hold of the track. Now there's a guy that utilized the knowledge of watching what took place in front of him. 3:16.18, took to the lead and just flat out drove the boys.
And Dave, it's easy to see that the track is really changing for the better here. When you can take a 10,000-pound tractor and pull that front end up, that means you're getting a lot of traction on those back tires.
It is for a fact, and he moved the weight back to utilize that. A great job of driving. And take a look from our overhead flying camera. They just love that shot, and you love to see horsepower come to the track like that. This man loves the Rock Valley track. He won the show last night, moves into the lead right here, and Rick Carlson's going to check him out.
Doug, I think you like Rock Valley.
Rock Valley is a really nice place. I'm really glad to be here, and I'll be here next year.
David Fleming is our next puller. He's out of Kearney, Nebraska.
Right in the center of Nebraska. Started pulling with Outlaws a couple, 3 years back. Good competitor. 4955 John Deere. He's also moved some weight back. Hear that motor struggling a little bit. He might have tried a little taller gear, tried to slide it a little farther, a little faster. Didn't work for him. He goes 291 and 51.
As we look at the replay, Dave, you have driven one of these tractors, so keeping in mind the track conditions, how would you set it up?
Well, you've got to know your tractor top to bottom. You've got to know where the weight's got to be, and you got to know the gear selection, look at the track, pick the right gear, move the weight. A lot of decisions got to be made.
This is Joshua Parker out of Martinsville, Ohio. He's a farmer and livestock trucker.
Runs a trucking business. You see that smoke coming out of the center of the tractor underneath? That's just clutch smoke. That just shows you that he's slipping the clutch a little bit. Just what he needs to do on this track. His dad pulled earlier. Jeff Parker's dad pulled earlier. He went past his dad, moved him up in the standings.
Final results, Doug Sabatka, the performance shop owner, outperformed everybody. In second and third place, the father-son team of the Yarrans. Now moving from smoke to alcohol, the Unlimited Superstocks and Brandon Whiff when we return. A great crowd on hand today enjoying Thunder in the Valley from Rock Valley, Iowa. Coming up first in the Unlimited Light Superstocks, Brandon Whiff. He's out of Doland, South Dakota.
His dad, Gary, pulled earlier this afternoon in the afternoon performance and run out of bounds on a dry track. Now the shadows are getting long. We're going into the evening performance. Brand new track, brand new everything. Son's got to carry it through, get the paycheck. Oh, man, let's keep it in the center of the track and lay down a pass at 3:16 and 21 with awesome tire speed.
Well, Brandon is always a strong contender. In fact, he's defending points champion. Look at this, right on board.
I chose for a fact there ain't no shock absorbers on these things. But, man alive, you got to love it. We're going to find out from Rick Carlson.
Brandon, how's the track right now?
Well, it's looking pretty good right now. There's a lot more moisture in it than there was this afternoon, and that's what it takes for our tractor to work. So now I got to sit back and cross my fingers and watch a lot of heavy metal come after me.
And that'll bring up Colin Weens. He won on Saturday afternoon on the last pull of the day. Can he win again today?
Well, he took it away from his dad earlier this afternoon. He brought home some, oh, what a ride. He got a little out of shape. Bringing her back, you love to see these tire burners go to walking the dog like that. The adrenaline, put some adrenaline in his blood. Takes the lead at 3:20 and 52, and I can't wait for this replay, Claude.
Well, on the replay, I hope we see there's a lot of back and forth, left to right. What caused that?
Most usually on these Unlimiteds, when they go to walking the dog like that, that means we're fixing to have a pass, and they're right on the borderline of things going array in a hurry, but he held it tight in. A nice pass.
And that'll bring up Scott Holtgrew out of Atkinson, Nebraska. He calls it Voodoo Deer.
The Voodoo Deer. Now, this guy has been on a roll. He didn't win this afternoon. He's used to winning. He is going to be running at him. And there you go. Front end up in there. Tire speed, ground speed. Nothing wrong with that. That front end carried all the way through. A straight shot right there. The distance, 3:35 and 46. Claude, this class is coming to us.
It sure is. From the launch, those big meats on the back, grab the track, front end straight up in the air.
He's looking over his shoulders. He wants to know where that leader flag is because he knows he was right on it.
Last one standing, this is John Hoffman out of Dunlap, Iowa.
Seen his son pull earlier this afternoon, father and son team, own and operate a body shop in Dunlap. Here again, we're walking the dog. Anything can happen from this point on when it goes up like that and they go to walking around. Going to move it into second place at 3:22 and 48. Used a little bit more of the track.
As we look at it on the replay, if you walk it, as long as you're going left to right and not really going left to right on the track, you're not losing distance, are you?
Yeah, when it goes to rocking back and forth, some guys don't like it. I think it's pretty cool, and that's most usually when I see my best performing runs.
Checking out the leaderboard, Scott Holtgrew with the lead right now. He's used to being number one. Can he hold it? He will be challenged by the Out-of-State Association top-ranked pullers. And one of those is Bryce Pickler. He will pull when we come back.
The Outlaw Truck and Tractor Pulling Association is brought to you by O'Reilly Auto Parts. Better prices every day. Precision Turbo, the world's foremost manufacturer of high-performance aftermarket turbochargers. VP Racing, the world leader in race fuel technology. And by Steel Rubber, quality crafted rubber parts and weather stripping.
Welcome back to Rock Valley, Iowa, as the sun is slowly setting on the Outlaw Truck and Tractor Pulling Series. Continuing with the Unlimited Superstocks, this is Bryce Pickler out of Mondovi, Wisconsin.
The Wisconsin boys that showed up to tangle with the Outlaws. This little Case IH is rocking and rolling. Reared back, taking a whale of a shot at him. Spinning and grinning, burns it in at 3:16 and 53. Not going to take the lead by a long shot.
Looked like a pretty good pull, but he just did not get the distance out of it.
Never really locked to the track like he thought he was. I mean, he got good ground speed right there, but that flutter in that front end, up and down, that costs you distance every time it does that.
And that will bring up Justin Swinby. He calls his tractor 100 proof.
Another one of the Wisconsin boys down to play in the dirt at Rock Valley. Big show, big competitors, rock and roll. Unlimited Light Supers at their best. A lot of blow-by coming out of this engine. You see that blow-by tube. That is the oil pressure coming from the valve cover. Goes 294 and 61. I don't think the blow-by hurt him that much. Just didn't get locked to the track.
And not a problem with where he spotted the sled. In fact, it's where everybody else has been pulling from, but he just did not get hooked up well.
Well, there's a little divot in the track back there. You seen when that back end kind of bounced. Just drove in the wrong spot. Motor went down on him. Just one of those deals.
Marcus Wedelson is a nationally ranked NTPA puller, calls his tractor gunpowder and lead.
Oh, one of the names in the sport has come down. This is going to be one to watch. He wants to take it to the Outlaws, having to fight that sideline. Hit the brake, hit the steering wheel, run the sideline. Look at the tracks back behind him. Cross-tracked it. Didn't work out for him. He goes 320 and 21. Started way over on that right side, Claude. Yeah, he was going to run that far side, and he just took a chance, and it didn't work out for him and went plumb across the track and had to fight it hard. He's not going to be happy, and I'll bet you Rick Carlson finds out the story on this.
Marcus, it looked like you had that front end up in the air all the way down the course.
Yeah, we kind of took a chance. We were kind of trying to be a hero or zero there. We took the other side, and we could have just stayed a little closer to the right. We probably could have won this thing, but you know, we were on the brake and whatever. So you got to take a chance once in a while. So that's what happens.
Our next puller will be Taylor Weens. Earlier today, Rick Carlson caught up with her.
Another one of the neat-looking green tractors is Deer Factor, driven by Taylor Weens. Taylor, how did you get started?
It all started back when I was 14 years old, and my dad just started with our old tractor, which was a light super, and I told him that I was going to do that, and he obviously didn't believe me. But 2 days after I turned 16, I ended up getting in a seat, and I couldn't back out because of course, I'd been going on for 2 years telling him I was going to do it.
Now that you talked yourself into the seat, are they ever going to get you out of it?
No way.
Now, Taylor's brother pulled earlier, Colin. In fact, he's right now in third place, so that's something to shoot at.
Yeah, gives bragging rights to the family for a fact. Dad drove this tractor this afternoon. She kicked Dad out of the seat, and as you can tell, she is not afraid to hammer down on that kind of horsepower. Once again, that track is starting to pull the people over to that left side, but she drove through it. She's going to now set in number 2. She goes ahead of Bubba. She goes 3:30 and 89.
Well, there's some bragging rights. What a great-looking tractor. Wheels up, so she's got a hold of the track right there.
You know, there ain't very many people can keep a hand on the throttle. When that front end goes high and it goes to walking the dog, and they still drive through it, that is true professional right there.
Junior Whitworth comes from a big pulling family. They are pretty huge in the cattle business. BBI Spreaders, the name of his tractor.
BBI Spreaders, their sponsor, fertilizer spreading company, and they love those machines. They know how to work for a sponsor, and they know how to pull tractors. Taking that 40-20 way down the line, but just not far enough. Lost a little traction, goes 295 and 74. Coming from this angle, you see the front end up and down just a tick. Too much bouncing, Claude. You don't like to see them bounce that much.
He lost a lot of distance on that and not going to be happy with that pull. And that will bring up Lewis Freeze. He's been driving for a couple of years now with his dad.
Father and son team. Glenn is his dad. Glenn's been very instrumental in the sport of pulling, and son is right there side by side. And another one of the young guns. This whole class is going to the young boys and young ladies because they are not afraid of the power, and they will drive it through. And this young gun takes 3rd place in 3:26.01.
Checking out final results, Scott Holtgrew takes the win by holding off the competitors from the other associations. The Weens family, very well represented in 2nd and 5th place.
Fingernail biting time for a while.
Yeah, that's pretty tough when you're in the lead and you're the middle or the front of the class. You got to watch all the other guys come up and inch up by you and then maybe beat you or get 5 foot away. So.
Well, that winds up our coverage from Rock Valley, but Dave will be back.
Guaranteed in 2016, the 2nd weekend in July, we are going to burn and churn.
And that'll put a wrap on it for us today. For Rick Carlson and Dave Bennett, Claude Wood, so long from Rock Valley. See you next time.